All right, I want to welcome everybody. This is probably one of my favorite. It's the LinkedIn for power users. Now, we're all power users at different levels, though, right? So I mentioned, and this is how to be productive in 2 minutes or less, and I'm going to give you some quick results-based movements. We're in the process of recording every possible movement that you could possibly do on social media, not on just LinkedIn, but on Pinterest, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And what we're doing is we're tracking all the movements that actually produce results, because we know, we're in this situation where we have, we have so much technology, right? And so what happens is we get hooked, we get pulled in, right? So when we're doing that, we're just in a situation where we can't necessarily figure out what to do. There's so much stuff to do. That's why hopefully many of you have come through through some of our training to learn the 20 minutes a day program, because that program in itself is so valuable, because it teaches you what to do in a small amount of time to produce that next appointment, to find that next partnership, to find that next targeted connection. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dean DeLisle. I'm founder and CEO of Forward Progress. I have on the line from our social media department today one of our coaches, Jamie Griffin, who's on with us today, and she'll be monitoring the questions. Jamie, you want to say hi to everybody real quick?
Hi, guys.
And she'll be helping you in the background there, so as you're answering questions, don't forget your questions, and I'll try to hang around at the end to make sure that I can address everybody's questions. Like I said, we are blessed because we've trained and coached we're approaching 70,000 people, and we have, with us today, we have over 200 people registered in 9 or 10 countries, and so we just want to welcome everybody. It's noon here in Chicago. On with us today to just have the hunger and desire to learn more about social networking. Now, when we look at the 2013 stats, and it's still the average user has about 240 connections, right? Which means that they're 1 degree from about 35,000 connections, and this depends on your network, and then 2 degrees from over 3.2 million. Right, trusted connect. These are trusted connections, people that are connected to one another, and we think about how many people are active and the quality of the data. So listen to what I'm saying on that, and we're going to talk about some of these movements in LinkedIn and some of the ones that are critical in under 2 minutes or less. But it's about the quality of the data and the reliability and building that trust. I just came out of a marketing meeting where we talk about relationship marketing, and one of the biggest probably things we want to focus on is building trust, right? So let's say we want to be highly productive while we're building trust, because there's only so much time, right? So what we do is first, right, we set our goals before we log in. So before you even log in, and this is just some tips in what we do in terms of our 20 minute a day program, but before I log into my LinkedIn, I know whether I am just going there to browse around and check out and see what's happening, or am I going to take an appointment out of here? Am I going to take 2 appointments out of here? Am I going to meet a partner? And am I going to meet what we call in our world an ideal connection, right? Do I have the intention to do that? And so this is all about intention and ownership of your network, okay? Now when we do, we set our time limit, because what will happen is with anything online, things will pop up. Distractions will show up. And if we don't set that time limit, we're not going to be efficient. So as I show you various movements to create results, some of my favorite moves online, you also want to make sure you don't get caught up, because you're going to start clicking on things. And like I found myself, I start clicking on things, an ad pops up. Next thing you know, I'm on Amazon or eBay and I'm buying something, and I'm in a whole different space. My goal is to set appointments. My goal is to set targeted appointments and develop meaningful relationships, good referral-based relationships, okay? And so I look at that when I look at my network, and I set my time limit, whether it's 10 minutes or the 20 minutes or whatever it is, and what's my goal? I'm going to get 2 appointments out of this, right? So think about what that feels like for you. Now, this is one of our Social Jack worksheets. Those of you that have been through our class know this, and we break down everything into simple movements. of 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just so that we can understand that when we log in, we're going to take we're going to take in like 2 appointments, right? And I'm going to close 1 deal out of this movement on Monday, and I'll show you a couple of these cool moves that we make. But think about what this can mean for you. Okay, one of the coolest things is you can do a quick scan on yourself. Now, I like this power move because it holds us in relationship with our own profile. Okay, now there's so many new items, right? In just 2 minutes, you can look at your headline. Is your headline, you know, which is this top part next to your picture, is your headline really what you are to your network? Is that the specialist that you are to your network? Do you have any referrals that you can approve or that you can give as part of your network? Are there any referrals that you can do? You know, you can look for opportunities for referrals. There's now skills. You can evaluate your skills and look at those skills. The one thing back to referrals, what I like about this when I'm scanning my profile is I go back to the people that took the time to write a referral, and I re-engage with them, right? They took the time to write a referral. Those are good people in your network. What are they up to? What are they doing? You know, how can you help them out? So in 2 minutes on my quick scan, as I call it on my profile, it just checks me back in with the people that are behind me. Because as I get referrals or people send referrals to me, I'm now, this is who I am. They're going to see these people. They're going to know these people. And I don't want them, you know, to maybe be connected to them, and maybe they're connected to some of my referrals, and they're going to judge that relationship based on whether they're going to do business or not. And they might say, oh, yeah, but I haven't heard from them in years, you know, or one of those where you're totally disconnected. So, you know, be connected with the people that are part of that core network of yours. Now, you also have skills. Skills are very, very different. Let me see if I can jump over to my screen real quick here. So if I look at skills and I just look at my profile, I'm just going to view my profile. And again, you know, I'm just quickly scanning my profile just so I can see what my world's looking like here and what's going on. And as I go down to my skills, right, let's get down to my skills, I can actually see who's sort of endorsing me. Now we like and we don't like some of these skills because some people are just clicking on things. We like integrity-based skill identification. So if you are approving skills for somebody, make sure you actually know that they do that skill. Because what's going to happen is they're going to show up in here. So if you've never worked with somebody or you don't really know somebody and you're endorsing them, that's not really genuine or authentic. And we want to work on maintaining the authenticity on here because this is a powerful area, and we don't want LinkedIn to take it away. But, you know, just for the fact that so many people are disingenuinely, you know, connecting with people, you know, and just, you know, just collecting connections, as I say, and just endorsing them for any skill. It's not really as genuine. Real quick, I'm going to put a poll up on your screen. I just want to get a sense for everybody. How much time do you spend each day, on average, on social media? I'm going to launch this poll just so that we can get an idea of where everybody's at. So, and I'll just give this 20 seconds. Again, we're just trying to get a sense for how many people, you know, and James, if you look on your screen, if you lose our screen, because I know some of you are checking your screens, you just click on the little flower down below and you'll see that poll. And I see I have 66, 67% of the people, you know, I see about 80%, almost 80% of the people have voted in 30 seconds. You guys are awesome. All right, let me just show you how this, let me just show you how everybody on today, remember we have people from all over the world, so this is a global poll. And so I'm going to share this with you, but you see you're not alone. So we have 58%, less than an hour. And our goal is not to have you on social media all the time. We don't want you in your social networks all the time. We want you with the people. Okay, so our goal is to flip you out of your social network, and that's why we get down to the 20 minutes a day. And it's cool that you're on more. We just want you to be more effective while you're on. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's move along. So there's also things you can tune into. If you look on the right side of your profile, it'll say recommended for you if you have multiple languages. I have a lot of my bilingual people that are on, or multilingual people that are on. Make sure you utilize that function, you know, in there. So when I say a quick scan, this is just a consciousness. Now, you're not going to be able to update your patents or your certifications or your projects. You're not going to be able to update that in 2 minutes, but this will hold a consciousness for what you need to do in the 2 minutes, okay? So in 2 minutes, you might see that you're connected to the wrong groups, or you're not connected to the right groups, or there's certain specialties. So I like the profile update and just holding consciousness. I try to do that once a week. Now, the other thing is, the number one thing is, let's make sure we look good. As I stated, I just got back from this great training in California that we did with top producers from all over the world. And it was amazing how many people, you know, generated more referrals when they had a good LinkedIn profile. Now, the fact of the matter is, most people are not going to read everything. But when you have, and you're starting to get referrals that are inbound and people in your network, you're showing up in searches. I can't even begin to tell you the millions of searches that go on that you're not showing up in. And so that's what we want to do, is to make sure that you're starting to show up. So real quick, you know, if you just go into the edit profile function, and you can start looking at things like, you know, they used to have this 100% thing going on, right? So this 100% thing. Now what they do is they do this new type of scoring in the profile. See if I can get back to the top real quick here, right, where they say, oh, you're an all-star, you know, what are the things that you can do, you know, to strengthen this, right? How can you strengthen, how can you make improvements to your profile? And so they do some things where you can actually, you know, get, you know, your profile beefed up a little bit. But the most important things are to make sure you have complete information, make sure that you have all your connections in there, right? Make sure that you have all your connections in there. Make sure that you have a few recommendations going on. They want you to make sure that you're actually using this system, right? They want to make sure that you're part of gaining your profile strength, because the more data that you have, the more things that you have in your profile, the more your network is going to be connected to you, or the more that they're going to connect you to the possibilities of your network. So this people you may know are all driven based on the fact of what you have in your profile, right? So whether it's people or information, that's how they find you better and more connections, more relevant connections. Now, what it also does is, on the flip side, it makes the search stronger. So that's why we want you to spend a couple minutes to scan through your profile, make sure that it's as complete as possible, and pay attention to your profile strength. Now, one of the other things we talk about, which we don't have a ton of time to go into today, but I want to make sure that you understand, is that there's keywords that you use as part of your business. Those keywords are the way that what people type in when they're searching for an expert in their network, right? What do you do? Online marketing, webinar production, email marketing, building social communities, architect of social networks, launching national brands. What do you do? What expert are you? And what happens is, when LinkedIn starts scanning from these keywords that are typed in up here, right? They start scanning in the headline. They go into the summary. And then they start looking for supporting evidence of how much other data is in the profile of that person related to the keyword. So if you are blessed to be in a situation where you have all kinds of keywords that you've used and you've become an expert over the last 5, 10, 15 years, or in your last few positions, fill it out completely. If you're have schooling and things like that, make sure you fill it out completely, but keep those keywords in mind. Hopefully that makes sense to you, okay? Also, make sure your skills match your feature set of who you are, right? So social networking, social media marketing, make sure you have 50 skills that you can put in there. It only takes a couple minutes to add those skills. Those skills will impact how many people show up into your network. Okay, so think about what that looks like. Think about those skills, okay, and make sure you have the top 50 skills in there that best represent what you're going to do for me and how we're going to work together, okay? Next is what we measure on, is a little bit of connecting to other people. So we do what we call a CEO measurement, right? It's based on, the C stands for number of connections. So what does that look like for you, right? So every time you meet somebody, so I met a bunch of great people on this trip to California, and some people I connected to right away. And when I connected to them and I met them in the hotel lobby, I mean, we started networking with some other groups that were in the hotel there. We went out and did some networking in San Francisco. And when we did that, we found some really good people that made sense for us to connect with. And the first thing I said is, are you on LinkedIn? Is it okay if we connect, right? Because I wanted to wire myself to their entire network. So even if they're not a direct connection, they might be connected to a lot of people that make sense for us to do business together. And because I have a good profile, I can show up in their search, right, a lot more relevant if I'm connected to them. Now, I could still show up if I'm not connected, but I stand a much better chance. So if I can detect that person is a good connection or conduit for me to get wired in, I'm going to make sure that I make that connection. And so many times we coach so many people, and we don't see them adding what you do is you accept connections, people connecting to you, but you're in this highly critical meeting. And so let's say you're doing a proposal pitch, right, and there was 2 other good decision makers in the room there. Wouldn't it be cool if right at that moment you said, hey, listen, are you on LinkedIn? Is it okay if we connect, right? So you get the business card, but what about the link to the entire network? So please don't. It takes less than 2 minutes to craft a great message, custom message. It was great meeting you in yesterday's meeting. I can't wait to have further discussions and make some sort of point of reference to this, okay? Now, let's talk about results, right? Because I said I want to set an appointment. Well, what I do is I flip on the ad. So when I actually look that person up, my George Smith person, right, and I find George Smith in there, and I make the connection, right, and I click on connect. When I do this, I always make sure I type a personal message. I put my phone number in there, but more importantly, I type in an appointment setting line. I say, you know what, I would love to learn more about whatever the context is of that relationship or that conversation that you had. I would love to learn more about you, right? You make it personal. And then you do what we call flip on the ad. You ask for the next phone conversation or the appointment with that person in this message. So that is very critical to make that next move. Now you've not just added someone, you've booked another meeting. So many times we're at a networking event and we get some business cards and we have a good conversation. Yeah, let's grab a cup of coffee sometimes. And then how many of those do if you have some comments on this, I see some of you in the questions area. I want everyone to know they have the freedom to chime into the questions area. But how many times do we just let those people pass, right? We forget about them. We get busy. Oh my gosh, I got back to my office and this happened and that happened and this happened and I got busy. And you forgot about that good connection that you made. Right? So think about, yes, I know, everybody goes through that. It is unbelievable. And so we do a lot of coaching where we track people and we make sure we have a system for them to continuously add. Now, one of the coolest things or features that I think are based on the, things that I put into my profile or the people you may know. I think it's a hidden, sort of a hidden thing in there because people are constantly coming online, developing their profile. They're building their profile too. As you think about some of the amazing stats, right? So if I go in and I just view my profile here, let's just go on to this. All right, so let's say if I, let's go this, I'll go into edit profile. So if you go into edit profile, there's a sort of a, actually go from your home page. It's probably best if you go directly from your home page. So the best way to get to your home page is to click home or click on the LinkedIn icon. Okay, I'm going to let everybody get there just so that they can see. Now, one of the coolest stats, I think, right, is not the number of connections that you have, because it'll tell you based on the number of connections how many professionals that links you to, right? So I have 15 million plus. What fascinates me is the new people in my network since April 5th. Now, it's only April 9th. 85,723. So if I am connecting and adding the best people in my network, and remember, it takes less than 2 minutes to do that, I'm now attracting and possibly showing up in searches for 85,000 people just in the last few days. Because they're on, I'm connected, they're hungry to get to know more people, they want to network. This is like the ultimate networking event. Does this make sense to everybody? Just go yes or give me an acknowledgement, and that's just in the sort of questions area of the GoToWebinar taskbar, because I want to make sure you get the networking that's going on here, because I see a lot of my networkers on with me. Okay, so now we have Get Real Social. Okay, this is the interactive part. This is the juice, right? This is what really makes this sort of worth it all, right? So we can get real social, we can have good interaction with one another, and that's the second thing. That is the E of the CEO report that we do, that we measure engagement, right? Because engagement creates a conversation. Engagement creates that next step, right? It creates that next step, that next level. So think about that, and engagement will create the next appointment. It'll create the ask for the appointment or the next step to the appointment, for sure. So now all of a sudden we have the interaction, which is on the home, and to me this is a quick 2-minute drill. So I'm on my home page, and this is probably one of my another favorite thing. I have a lot of favorite things. But if I go onto my updates, I can look at connections. In 2 minutes, I can look and see how my network is connecting, right? I can see that Jerry Catalano is connected to Dave Hoff, and I can see if Dave is a good, connection for me. I can go to Paul. I can see he's connecting. I can see Alan's connecting to Maurice. I can see that Bruce is connecting to Zachary. I can start seeing my networking. And I can make quick choices, right? I can make quick choices to see if I want to get in the mix of this networking. Maybe it's time for me to connect with Deb because I see her connected to Kathy, who's the corporate VP of Case Goods, right? So I can make those choices if I'm tuned into the networking event. But if I don't show up to this networking event, I'm going to miss out. I'm not going to catch it. So now I've been talking for 60 seconds as I'm highlighting, and I can see all these little 10 packs of connections going on in my network and decide what's cool, right? And maybe I just make my move. I'm not connected to Nick yet, but I'm connected to Gail. And because I'm connected to Gail, I can send a message and book an appointment, right? Now, I don't have to do it this way. I could simply go to Gail's record, or I could call her up on the phone. I could text her. I could send her the email message. But we talk about relationship marketing, and this means being in relationship, in dialogue, in conversation with people both online, on the phone, and in person. We cannot forget that. Okay, so that's just connections. Okay, there's more magic to come here in 2 minutes or less. Let's say you stop at the Starbucks, right, or the Dunkin' Donuts, wherever it is, and you go and you just want to see profiles. Who's updating their profile? Who's actually in the LinkedIn game here and updating stuff, right? You can look at, people were endorsed on their skills and expertise, and who's networking at the profile level. And I don't have time to go through all these. And then shares, as you guys know, is one of my favorites, especially if you've been through our sales class where we show you how to convert off of shares. But this is your network, right? This is your network, the people you've selected to be connected to. This is what they're talking about. Remember, a share is a post or a conversation. These people are looking for conversations. If this is a good person in your network, right? And all of a sudden I want to connect with Darren or Lori, and these are people I know and I can identify. Oh my gosh, Tony, I need to connect with him, right? It's that reminder. It's like seeing somebody at an event, walking up to them because you're familiar, right? This is part of relationship marketing. You're familiar with them and it's time to connect. So whether it's Tony or Steve, and I could connect with Steve just by looking at what he posts, and if I like it, I like it. Somebody was asking me this morning, I was with a group this morning, and they said, why would I like something? I said, well, do you like this, Do you like this jacket that I have on? Do you like what I said? Would you say something about it? Would you say, yeah, I like that? You know, think of it. This is a conversation. This is a conversation without even typing, right? It's just a one-click like, and you're in conversation with Steve, right? Now, the interesting thing is there's other people in this like, in this conversation, because there's one other like here. So Vierdra is the original source of this, and Vierdra would see this like, right? But you could also comment. Comment is a conversation. They've put something up here out of TechCrunch. What does it mean to you, and what makes sense, right? You could make a comment. Now you're in dialogue with them, right? In less than 2 minutes, you've scanned your page and found some good dialogue. You can also share in less than 2 minutes. So you can be in conversation and relationship with these people. So I'm not going to go too deep, but you're welcome to scope out all the other things, company updates, and in 2 minutes or less, you can really engage in this, right? And then what I do is I do strike points. If I'm in likes or conversations with people, I then make that next strike point. Now let me show you one other quick thing here. This is new, but not to those of you that have been through our classes, but if you click on people and updates, right? Now I type in here, let's say I want to look at everybody that's posting something about coaching. I love talking about coaching. So now I click on coaching, right? These are all the updates in my network that my network is making about coaching, right? Look at this, 114,000 updates on coaching. I can look at skills and conversations and all kinds of things that people are adding about. You know, I can look at skills they've added, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know Peter was into coaching. You know, I look at, we can partner on some things, and he can probably recommend me to his clients, right? And so you see he's a third level connection. So I'm not quite with him yet. I'm a couple degrees away. So let's just look at the 69 first level connections. I'm at the 60-second mark here now. I typed in coaching, I'm sharing, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my first level connections. Is it time for me to set an appointment with any one of these people, right? And I noticed that she added these skills. I'm curious. She's a great person. Lori Ray would recommend me in a second. I'm going to like this. I'm going to comment and probably direct message her and get myself an appointment. And now I'm at the 2-minute mark. You guys getting this game? So I have the intention of meeting good contacts, reconnecting to good contacts in my network, and now I'm going in and seeing what they're talking about. They're hungry for a response. It's a core human need that we all have, to be seen, right, and to be liked. That's why social networks have taken up. Now, let me just ask you real quick. I'm going to do another quick poll here. How many people are generating enough appointments and referrals each week just from LinkedIn? Just from LinkedIn. I know some of you are appointment setters, but, you know, and enough is 2 or 4 or 8, depending on what enough is. But how many people, and I've got some of my rock stars up here that are definitely generating the appointments, so I know you are. So I have a poll up on the screen. So Noreen and Yolanda, if you look and you click on the little daisy or the flower on your screen, you'll see a poll on there. And I'm just going to let this run for 3 more seconds. Got most of you in. And I'll show you where you're at. So it's not just, it's not just, so you can see most everybody's with you on this. You see where the poll came in there. So 91% said no. So think about if you went into your networking. Many of you can set appointments in a meeting room too. So like in a networking event, you can set appointments. And so just think of this as that great networking event. And I'm just showing you different ways to get there. Okay? And so I showed you some of these connections and profiles and groups and companies in this level of engagement. So I want to make sure that everybody, just starts doing a little more networking, right? Now, in this endorsement, I want you to be real. Yes. Yeah, somebody got lost here. So if you're up here and you want to get to the updates search again, you click on updates. You see where it normally says people up here. When you click on updates, you type in a keyword and you hit scan, and it'll scan your entire network. And you can break it down by industry, you can break it down by, topics and update types, if you just want, those shares or profile updates, you can just look at shares and it'll rescan and research for you. Isn't that cool? I really like that. You can also save your search. right? So you can see I have one in here that is spring fun and data services and real estate and retail shopping and coaching. I can save that share so I don't have to think about it each and every time. So the conditions of this share search that I did, I can save. There's a bonus for you too. That way you can take even less than 2 minutes, right? You just do it in 60 seconds or less. It's just one click. All right, is that good? Was that cool? I thought that was cool. Yeah, I thought so too. So very good. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so in this, what I always say, in 2 minutes or less, you can get to know someone better. You're getting ready to go on a meeting. How powerful would it be if you knew more about the person you were going to have the meeting with? You knew more about their skills and expertise. People in their network you could ask directly. For referrals in their network, once you build the trust and you have the connection, you could learn more about who they are in the world. To me, that's huge. You can learn more, right, about what they've done in their past. You can learn more about their hobbies and their interests and their accomplishments. Wow, I saw you won that great award, you know, for this and that. Tell me about that story. Tell me how you won that award. Tell me how you landed that business with Boeing, right? Tell me a little bit. I didn't even realize you did capital raising, Kurt. Tell me more about how that works in your world, how you see that working in your world and how it's worked before. So you can get into a deeper relationship. You've taken the time to look at their profile. Every single meeting, 2 minutes or less, you can go in and get to know the person better before the meeting, even if you've known the person for years. It's amazing, people that we've known for a great period of time, and then all of a sudden we just see something in their profile and they're like, you know what, I've known you for 15 years and I never knew that about you, right? And so that's what's interesting. I never knew you, you know, and so what I'll do is I'll look at their LinkedIn. I'll also look at their Facebook. So I closed a decent chunk of business because of the Rolling Stones and the Chicago Bulls, right? I went to the CFO and I'm pitching a big deal and I'm looking at his profile and I saw some cool stuff on his LinkedIn and I just saw some couple of cool things on his profile and I wasn't even connected to him on Facebook. I just saw a couple things that he liked and I paid attention to it and we had a good conversation and we built some trust. And you can do that too. Each and every one of you can do that. So is that cool? I mean, that's another nice 2-minute thing. Now you can also make a note. So as you click on here, you can add contact information. You can add notes in 2 minutes or less, right? So that when you want to come back here, and you can make some other notations in their file on LinkedIn. Now they don't see this. That's the next question everybody asks. Can they see that? No. In 2 minutes or less, you can make a quick note and really make an impact with that person. So is that cool or what? I just want to ask real quick on the connections thing. How many people add connections at least once a week? I'm going to do another poll here up on the screen. So, you know, are you adding connections? Good. I love to see the fact. And you know what? We meet people every week. I just want to make sure we hold a consciousness for adding those people. And I'm only going to run 20 seconds on this. I'm about 15 seconds into it. Right, so 20 seconds, I'm showing that the poll is made its way around the world on everybody's screen. You just click on the little flower and say, it says, how many of you add connections at least once a week? And you'll just click on the yes or click on the no. Good, good. I'm glad to see. Now make sure that when you're doing it that you're putting the custom messages in there. And what the reason I bring this up now, I'll show you where everybody's at on this. So most of you are adding it, but when you're doing it, do the custom message, okay? Do the personalized message. And I always say find a couple things in their profile you didn't know about them. So if it's a referral or somebody that you're connecting to straight online, you haven't met them offline, find a couple things out of their profile that you find interesting and tell them. You have very little, you know, messaging that you can do in there, but you can certainly find a couple of cool things to talk about or to know about that person. Now in 2 minutes or less, you can quickly, you know, get to your groups. Now you'll notice that on your groups, you can show 3, 5, 7 of your top groups on here. And if you go into groups, you can make that selection. So that's very, very cool where you can go in and just quickly get to those groups, those top groups. And I shuffle this around based on my activity with groups. You'll note that if you do our social jack system, I'm only really in my groups once, maybe 20 minutes a week. right? So I have to really focus because when I go into my groups, I've got 2 minutes or less to get into a conversation, to get into relationship, you know. Yeah, and Delora, you are awesome at this from Istanbul. She says when she always sends a thank you note when they accept her request. So when she's connecting to somebody, she takes the time to make that next step. And that's great, Delora. When you and I were talking about that, I just love the fact that you take that extra next step and you thank the person for that connection. Just like if somebody makes a comment, right? So let's say it's in 2 minutes, in less than 2 minutes, you can start a discussion. If somebody comments on your discussion, thank you, Betsy, for that response. Thank you, Bob, for that response, right? Thank you, Christine, for that response. You know, so you can, you know, thank you, Chelsea, for that response. You can thank people, right, for just engaging in the conversation. Well, thank you so much for that great insight. It's just a great, you know, sort of social and emotional way to connect to people that you're not sitting across from in the conversation. So make sure that you thank them for their comments. It really goes a long way, and you can do that in 2 minutes or less, okay? And I always say the secret sauce here is to take them offline, right? So love your response here. You know, I'm complimenting her. I'd like to take this conversation offline. Do you have time to talk this week? I can talk either Thursday or Friday morning. Look forward to speaking, and then I put in my phone number, right? So I'm taking it from this conversation. I'm determining, you know, I don't have time for any more than picking one person out of this group. Who's the best person in the room? Who's the best person in the conversation? And then I strike, right? And I'm going to take some of these questions at the end. I see some of them coming across, so I'll take these in a few minutes. So now all of a sudden I can take them offline for a deeper discussion. So very, very cool. And like Steve says, it's a bit overwhelming. And Steve, that's why we break it down into small chunks. And if you haven't been to our Social Jack class, that's why we take it just down to 40 connections. That's right, 40 connections. We can promise you an increase in business and actually more referrals than you can possibly handle. But you have to get into relationship with those core people. And so we show you various techniques to do that. And some of it is like this, because when you're really maintaining not 2,000 but 40 of your top connections, you know who they are when they pop up on your screen. You know who they are when you walk into a room. And so it's about having those good connections now and those next best connections, right? So that you know who the next person is for your network. And that's part of what I did with that whole group out on the West Coast last week. A lot of you said, well, what are you doing on the West Coast? Well, I was doing that with a whole national company, and they're going to have the most powerful, one of the most powerful networks in their business, 40 people at a time for each and every person that they have on their sales force. It's pretty amazing just in the short amount of time. In 2 minutes, 2 minutes or less, you can love your inbox. My gosh, so many of us, you know, I'm guilty of this as well. And once a week, I have it in my 20 minutes where I actually go through and try to clean out and file and follow up as best as I can with my inbox. But goodness gracious, is that just like the most overwhelming? You know, so Steve, you talk about overwhelming, how about the inbox? So in 2 minutes, you can look at an appointment that you missed or an opportunity that you missed in your inbox, right? So what does that mean to you, right? So you can look at your inbox. You can look at sent messages. You can see things that are unresolved. And one of the cool things that LinkedIn did is they have this new thing at the top where you can look, and you can look at your invitations, right? And you can look at your messages right at the top. Right, so very cool. So think about what that looks like, and think about the fact that you can, you know, that you can actually reply and maybe get an engaged conversation going there and get yourself an appointment. You can also see notifications, so you weren't able to see those before, and so now you can see, you know, how many of these people do you want to reconnect or connect with, right? You have that opportunity from any of these places. Very, very, very cool. All right, so think about the power there. So now the other thing that I do in 2 minutes or less, when I do one of my 2 minutes or less things, I will accept this invitation but I will do a quick reply here before I do it, and I want to see why are we connecting or why are we networking, right? So if I don't, get a sense for this person, and they're just building a network, but it doesn't really make sense, I will check them out and make sure it makes sense for us to be connected, right? I'm not just going to connect. So those of you that send me connections and I don't accept, I want a personal message, or I want to know that you attended one of our classes, or I want to know that, you think we can, create a good working relationship or a partnership here, okay? So I'm sort of looking at the people that connect, and we have thousands and thousands and thousands of students, and I love connecting to you, but please make sure you put a personal note in there, okay? That's all I'm looking for, and make sure your profile is in decent shape, because I want my network to look good, and you should want your network to look good too, okay? Hopefully all this is making sense to you, right? So how much time do you really have, right? So it's really 20 minutes a day, and we look at all that. So remember to set your goals before you log in, and I'm going to get to a couple of these questions. You guys have some great questions, and I see, Jamie, that Steve's got an outstanding question and a couple others. Set your time limit, promise yourself ownership and intention. Now, real quick, with what we have here, we want to make sure that you're connecting everything together. So like this is a blog site that we've done. Let me put this up, where we've actually connected the social aspect of this blog, and we've connected it so that this blog actually connects up to the social network site. So those of you that are blogging, those of you that have websites, make sure that you're wiring this together. Sometimes you can't do that in 2 minutes or less, but you can certainly tell your programmer to do it in 2 minutes or less. And if we're your programmer and you put a new social network site, or put up a new social network site, let us know, right? So if we've written a site or a blog site for you, make sure that you do that. So we want to make sure that all these are wired together. This is part of your wiring. So it's really, really, really cool. Right, so now we do a lot of things like blog sites, landing pages, pay-per-click campaigns, LinkedIn profile building service, Facebook profile building service, monthly social media management, coaching and training. I'm going to talk about some of our coaching classes. So many of you asked for a beginner LinkedIn or profile makeover class, because I know some of you can't afford our profile building service, right? So what we do is we have different classes and things that are coming up, right? Yes, there is a way to email blast from your LinkedIn contacts list. There's actually 2 cool ways, Robert. I'll see if I can get to that here at the end. But in terms of our businesses, we just want to understand who you are, because we do so many different services and we provide coaching and training. I'm launching a poll up on the screen right now that says, are you a corporation looking for large campaigns or policies or executive coaching? Are you a smaller business looking for a rapid launch plan or marketing services? Are you trying to launch your business into the internet, right? Are you a professional looking for more coaching and training? Are you a partner that's looking for a joint venture, co-op in marketing, or to be an affiliate? Maybe you have clients that, a good client base that wants to do this, and you want to partner with us, and we have all kinds of fabulous partnerships out there. In fact, we've grown our business 80% from partnerships and joint ventures. So think about what's best for you, and I'm just going to give you about 10 more seconds, and I'm going to look at a couple of questions. I'm just going to scan. Noreen asked, do you accept invitations from people without any pictures? Typically not, but some people have a good reason for not having a picture. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. If they have a good profile and a good reason for connecting, right, I'll get into that. So it all depends, So, but now you've heard me talk about Social Jack. Okay, now Social Jack is building the ultimate network. It's starting from those 40 people. What we do is we start you with sort of your current state network. Each and every one of us has a current state network, whether it's good or bad, or it's organized, or it's targeted, or it's generating business, or it's not. We all have a network that we're starting. What if you could increase your referrals to the point where you could double them and they were actually better, and you could increase sales, right? Well, Social Jack is we're constantly helping you rebuild that network, and it's a monthly program that you get into with us where you can get training, you can get Social Jack network building, that we're putting in here, and to the point where you could actually build a network that you can rely on to bring you business, right? And we're building out a very cool platform behind this, which hosts all kinds of classes and recorded sessions. We also have live training sessions every month on sales, marketing, and building your network, okay? And so we have live group coaching. So what if you could come into a format like this, ask any question that you wanted on building your business? And we do that every single Wednesday. We have Social Jack sessions where you can engage and be part of you know, your sort of social jackness online, right, and taking it to that next level. So what we do is we just added sort of a new segment on here where we can get you into the Social Jack, right? So we're going to get you into the Social Jack, where we also are, you know, having an ultimate profile rebuild class. Now, people have been asking for this for months. We haven't done this since November, so we're offering it again April 18th at noon Central. Right, get to the top of the search, tracking profile success. We will even look at your profile for you, but only for the people that sign up, you know, with this program this week, right? Because we can't do everybody for free. So we're going to do a session 1, build the ultimate profile, session 2, grow your network. Now, what we're including with this is 2 live LinkedIn sales sessions. These are advanced sales sessions, but some of you aren't ready to go there. So, so think about the power in that, right? So take it to that next level, and you get these 2 live classes, and then you get unlimited access to the recording to the advanced sales sessions, as well as you can re-watch these ultimate profile sessions and get into the Social Jack class and the coaching sessions. That's pretty good. So now all that, you know, you get to do this for actually 3 months. We're going to give you 3 months access, right, to all of this, and it's usually $479, but we're going to do it for $99. So is that a cool deal? So just real quick, I just want to get a poll. I'm not taking anybody's credit card, but I want to know, of all the things that I talked about, you know, because again, we have people all over the world here. Everybody's busy. They have things to do. We want to help those, and you guys are welcome to keep coming back to our free classes here. But up on your screen, there's a poll. Does it make sense for you to want to do the Social Jack class? Does it make sense for you to do more, you know, do you want us to build your profile for you? Do you want social media monthly management? Maybe you want someone to take it off your hands, right? Maybe you want us to build a blog site or a website for you. Maybe campaigns. So again, there's no pressure here. You know, we'll just follow up, and if it's good, that's good. If it's not, it's not. Just let us know. Okay, so you know, so many times people go and they just don't ask for the help that they need. Okay, so I have almost all of you have clicked on the screen, so I'm going to give you another 10 seconds. Let's go to one more. So Robert asks, is there a way to email blast your LinkedIn contacts? So if you go into your connections, Robert, and at the very lower right side of your connections, you can export your connections. This is one of the coolest hidden things in LinkedIn, where you can, and I'm going to take this poll off the screen here in a second, but you can go in there and you can export your connections. You can also email 50 at a time. So in our LinkedIn sales class, and this will get more into the advanced video that you get access to, but you can actually see step by step how to do some email blasting in blocks of 50, and we'll show you how to chunk your data too, which is pretty cool. All right, everybody's clicked on the screen, right? I'm going to take it down. Going once, going twice, there you go. Okay, thanks everybody for participating in that last poll. Now, if you want to sign up for the $99 thing, we have, because we're only going to do 13 people with the profile build, right? So you go to LinkedIn for you, F-O-R-Y-O-U. You don't have to capitalize it, but it's just linkedinforyou.eventbrite.com if you want to take advantage of what I'm offering, the 3 months of Social Jack, right? The network building class, the Social Jack network building class, the coaching sessions. Every Wednesday you get in on our coaching sessions. They're so much fun. You learn so much from each other as well as from us. And we have different experts. You'll learn about blogging and keywording and Twitter and all kinds of other cool things. We'll also take you through the other parts of LinkedIn that you haven't had a chance to see, you know, where you can actually not just get the LinkedIn for beginners, but we're also going to throw in the advanced in there as well. Yeah, and so April 18th offered on another day. You're not available, but don't forget they're all recorded. You get unlimited access. You could watch this, you know, Eileen, you could watch this 20 times, 50 times if you want over the course of the next 3 months. You have unlimited access just for the $99 to have access to the videos, even if you can't get into that live class. And don't forget, because you have it for 3 months, you'll be in on the April and May and June classes. So as the classes pop up, you can maybe work your schedule around to be into that. And you get access to the PowerPoint and the video and the audio, yes. You get access to all that stuff. So we haven't really gotten this aggressive before, but we do want to make sure that everybody jumps in on this and gets the help that they need to generate appointments. And that's how, you know, we're taking a risk here by doing it at a low cost because we're giving you a ton of training. We're giving you our top-notch instructors, right? We're giving you our top-notch coaches. Right? We're giving you access to all those people. That is so cool. Yeah, so you just go to linkedinforyou.eventbrite.com. You click on Order Now. You can use PayPal. You can use Amex, Discover, whatever. I think this takes them all. So you just click on Order Now and process at that point. Okay, let's go to another question here. So Robert, I think I helped you out on the e-blast. I don't accept invitations with people. So joining late, just wondering if we're going to talk about what to do if you have hundreds of thousands of contacts. Who are these people? Follow up with them. It's a bit overwhelming. Steve, I love that. When I read that, I almost had a hard time not doing it at that point. But what I do is I take it again. If you do the Social Jack training, it's just about core 40 people. Okay. Now you don't have the best 40 people. Nobody does. It was funny. I was in California with this group of top producers, right? So you know, maybe it's one of those deals where you have these top producers, and all of a sudden I said, well, list, you know, the top 5 people in your network, and we started going through their network, and they're like, you know what? I need a new network, and I'm like, well, I think you just need to pay attention to different people. You know, because we all get caught up in the people we're connected to, but the people that we're connected to have gotten us to where we are, not where we want to get to. Does that make sense? So what we do is we really have you build what we call that ideal state network. And you'll hear us talk about ID40, and it's not over. After one class, you're building. You learn how to build your network for whatever direction you want to take you and your business. It's about building it with intention and ownership, just from what I said in the get-go. Okay? So very, very cool. All right, I see a lot of you have jumped on. I think we do have some left on the linkedinforyou.eventbrite.com. Okay, so let me take a couple other questions here. First of all, I just want to check. I'm going to put it up on the screen while I'm taking a couple more questions. Did you learn something new today? We always want to make sure that you learn one new thing a day from us, right? So whether you're on our Facebook page or wherever you're at, we want to make sure that you learned at least one new thing from us, okay? Whether it was that 2-minute thing about how to go in and in 2 minutes set an appointment or reconnect with somebody. So I want to make sure everybody does that. Jamie, is there anybody that I missed? Okay, good. All right, so now we have, let's see, who else do we have? Okay, yeah, so we're getting asked how to do the $99 from McDara. McDara, did I pronounce that? That's a beautiful name, McDara McGrath. You just go to www.linkedinforyou.eventbrite.com. So that should get you right there. And the website would look just like this, linkedinforyou.eventbrite.com. You don't even need the little pound sign there. So there we go, yep. Yes, and there's some of our other classes are archived as well. We're actually building out, it looks like there's 9 remaining now. So we're building out a whole learning system. Yeah, Noreen says deleting someone is such a pain in the neck. They don't make it easy because they want everyone to stay connected, Noreen. Yes, I agree with you, and we want to make sure. We wish they had like a quick delete button. They used to make it real easy, and now they started hiding it. So I agree with you. Yes. So Dominic, new thing is take the conversation offline. Sadly, he's not on the not a phone person, so he always felt it was too time-consuming. What if you just picked the right person, Dominic? Because we can't really So just think about that. Think if it was think of the best person in your network. What if you had 5 of those people? What if you had 10 of those people? What if you had 40 of those people? That's why I so believe in the Social Jack program and rebuilding your network, right? LinkedIn for you, FORYOU.eventbrite.com. So Yolanda's asking how to access the videos. So when you sign up, we're going to send you, after you get your initial confirmation, Jamie's going to help me shrink wrap and send you guys a bunch of videos, even some Twitter videos and some other videos in that package. Okay, we're packaging up now. You'll probably get it. I would say, Jamie, they should be able to get it by Friday or Saturday when we close out registration. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to register because we only allow 25 new people into the whole program. So you guys are getting access to that. And so there will be one email that goes out where people actually have access into that system. So let's see. Oh, and somebody wanted the slide for our contact information. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, we also have Twitter /forwardprogress, FWD Progress. We also have our Facebook make sure you join our Facebook page. Very good page, a lot of good news and insights up there, and I know they're loading some videos we raised $3,000 for St. Jude's out in California on our trip. That was very cool. So let's see, who else do we have in questions? Did I miss anybody? Jamie, or are we good? Very good. Yes, I'll put the link up one more time. And yes, we'll send out, as soon as we're done, Jamie's going to upload our PowerPoint to SlideShare, and she'll let you guys know so you have access to that. I think we're good, right? All right, good. Look at that, Jamie. Thank you so much for assisting. Let's definitely hear it. Yeah, so McDura, I'm sorry if I didn't clarify that, but the $99, it's not 25 free spots. We're only allowing 25 people access to the $99 spot. So you get like 3 months, like I said, plus the classes, plus the LinkedIn, right? You get those classes, but we're only allowing 25 people to have that, okay? And then we're going to close that down because we don't want too many people in the class because we can't watch what you're doing and help you out. And really, we're really trying, these are live classes with a live instructor. So we really want to make sure we're watching, watching out for your success. So it takes a little bit to do that. Thanks, Patty. I love it too, man. We actually auctioned, it was a group of auctioneers, top producing auctioneers that we were training. And it was a great story. We're going to post it up. We're going to blog about it. But they actually auctioned off some of our sessions to the other auctioneers, and we raised over $1,000 for St. Jude's on profile building and coaching sessions. And then we raised another $2,000 in other auctions as well. Probably not for the beginner classes, Regina. We probably won't run them again for another 90 days. So we will run them. And then if you can't afford if you can't get to the 418 class, you can definitely have someone review it review the profile after you view the recording. So Eileen's asking that question. We'll make sure that somebody looks at that. So, but Regina, I would say, that you maybe sign up for it, and then you have access, 90 days of access to those recordings. That's what I would recommend if you can get in, on this round. Otherwise, we'll offer it again. Like I said, probably in about 90 days is what it looks like on the schedule. So I'm glad everybody learned something new. I think we're good. I think we've gotten everybody's questions, and thank you so much for participating. And again, thanks for your participation in the polls and everything. We learned so much and what to do and how we can do things better. Thank you so much, everybody. And a big global welcome to everybody around the world from here in Chicago, and giving you a big online hug. And we'll see you guys online somewhere, either on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, but we'll see you doing great things online and generating those appointments and referrals. Take care, everybody.